Welcome. Welcome to Travels with the Red Suitcase. My name is Cheryl and I am your travel coach. Today we are doing the fourth and the last in a series called U.S. State Department and You. Today we are going to address crisis and emergencies, specifically in foreign countries as you are traveling. Now, as I've said before in other videos, you must be responsible for you. The U.S. State Department is not going to be your knight on a white horse in shining armor riding in to save you. In fact, the State Department's primary goal is to keep you informed to help you identify your options. So, what will they actually do for you in an emergency or crisis situation? In the past videos, we have talked about what happens if you are in jail, what happens if you are a victim of crime, and we've talked about repatriation. So now, crisis and emergencies. They may be able to give you information if you are signed up for STEP, Smart Traveler Enrollment Program. They may be able to tell you how and where to seek help with local organizations like the International Red Cross and will provide you with security updates. And they may be able to assist you with documents that you need to leave the country and get back to your home. What they cannot do is a much longer list. They cannot and will not pay for your transportation. They cannot guarantee lodging, rates, or conditions during crisis or emergency situations. They cannot get you to a safe location. They are not going to come to your hotel, your B&B, or your hostel and pick you up and take you someplace safe. They cannot, unless extreme conditions, evacuate you. Now, the most recent example is Wuhan, China, when COVID-19 reared its ugly head. There were a lot of tourists in that area, and the State Department did charter a plane to rescue those tourists. But each one of them had to pay for their seats. And there were more tourists than there were seats available. So not everyone was evacuated. And they cannot order the military to come in and rescue you. And let me say this again. From my last video, I talked about this. Not all consulates and embassies have compassionate and knowledgeable staff, as I recounted earlier, based on my personal experience. Additionally, as I researched this topic, I found more than one post by U.S. citizens stranded in Europe who found no support from their respective consulate officials. One person specifically was astonished to learn that the ambassador was a Trump appointee with no foreign service experience and had, in fact, most recently managed a car dealership. She compared the service of the local British consulate with the U.S. consulate in the same city and said there was no comparison to be made. She was left on her own to solve her own problem. Likewise, an American woman was stuck in Sharm el-Sheikh, Egypt, on the Sinai Peninsula when the hotel she was in closed due to the pandemic. She could not get help from the consulate 360 miles away in Cairo. Some of the staff felt sorry for her and opened their home. Often when people travel, things happen like freak weather, the tsunami in Thailand, a typhoon in Okinawa, my brush with danger, earthquake, flash flooding in India, the volcanic eruption on White Island, New Zealand, where 47 people were on a shore tour and 11 died. Or political unrest, as in Paris, when the French satirical weekly paper Charlie Hebdo was invaded by two brothers who killed 12 and injured another 11 people. Not only do these things happen in Europe, but as we know, they are happening in our own backyard. It is imperative that you understand in today's climate, you are responsible for your safety. It is not possible any longer to be oblivious to our surroundings in this changing time. Based on personal experience and recent research, here are the top 5 things that will work in your favor at home and abroad. Number 1, know your options. Have those emergency telephone numbers at your fingertips. If the communication grid goes down due to a natural disaster or sabotage or just being overloaded, have a plan. Know how to get in contact with your family. Number 2, have a meeting place if you are traveling with others. And how will you get to your safe place if you are at home? What if streets or highways are clogged due to mass evacuation or a disaster like a tornado or a wildfire? I had to change my route through Oregon when California closed Interstate 5 during the fires around Mount Shasta. Number 3, if you are traveling abroad, notify the U.S. State Department of your location and your situation. Have you registered with STEP? Now might be a good time to use that language translator app for words that you did not expect to be using on your trip. Number 4, notify your travel insurance company. Friends in country if you are traveling. Family in the U.S. If there is an International Red Cross office, try to get there or notify them as well. And number 5, notify your airline, your bus, or your train company. Do not wait for them to notify you. Ask for what you need. Be proactive. It usually takes some time for large organizations to get the wheels turning. And here's a list of 10 safety items that you might want to consider carrying with you. When I first volunteered as a campground host at Mount St. Helens in Washington State, they issued us an emergency whistle. Until this time, I did not know that there is even such thing as an emergency whistle. Now, I have it permanently attached to the outside of my purse. So number 1, emergency whistle. Number 2 is a flashlight, but not an ordinary flashlight. You want a tactical flashlight, not a baton. You can find these online and you can use them for defense in an emergency. When you see the photos of these tactical flashlights, you will quickly notice that the rim is not smooth. So you can use this as defense. You might want to have with you a 10-in-1 tool. It is the size of a credit card. It's purchased for about $20. And I don't believe you can have it in your carry-on baggage because it does have sharp edges. But if you have a suitcase, this might be a handy tool to have with you. Definitely in your car. You want to have a rescue blanket, also known as a space blanket. About $5 almost anywhere. You might want to consider having a collapsible water bottle. This one I got at Walmart, again, about $5. If you're going to be camping or someplace where the water may become polluted, you might want to consider a life straw for filtering water. Individual ones are purchased for under $20. You want a backup charger for your phone. You want to create or buy a small first aid kit. You want a neckerchief, a bandana, or a mask. And this tip came from the CIA. I read an article quite a while ago that said if you had a rubber doorstop and you put it on the inside of your door, it would keep your door shut even when someone had a key. And I do carry one when I travel. Now, here's a bonus item, and it is a radio, solar, and wind up. You might want to have this. It has a flashlight on one end, solar panel, antenna, place for batteries. So you've got 3 different ways to charge up this radio and use it. Now, I understand that when we plan our trip, we want to have pleasure and not pain. We do not expect to have problems or trouble. But it pays to have all of your ducks in a row when something unexpected happens instead of feeling like you are herding cats. So take some time and save yourself a bucket load of stress by doing your research, or as a lawyer would say, due diligence. As my grandmother often said, an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. And I will leave you with that as your quote for today. If you learned something new today, or you enjoyed this video, please hit the blue button, the like button, and if you want to have more information in the future, press your finger on the red subscribe button. Remember, I also have a blog of 52 stories of my 3-year adventure through Europe, Northern Africa, and one lovely Scandinavian country. Just type in Travels with the Red Suitcase and up it will pop. Join me next Thursday for a new series about how to live with locals, save money, improve your foreign language vocabulary, and make new friends by volunteering independently around the world. Have a great week, and I will see you next Thursday. It's a date.